first time in months, Russian missiles are hitting the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv and other major cities, killing at least 19 people and injuring dozens more.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says these strikes are retaliation for a recent explosion on a critical bridge in the Russian-controlled region of Crimea. Let's bring in ABC foreign correspondent Britt Clennett, who is on the ground there in Kyiv. Britt, thanks for being with us. And President Putin called this attack a terrorist attack. This bridge is significant, not just logistically, but also personally to President Putin, yes?
Absolutely, guys. That bridge is the only link between Russian-occupied Crimea and Russia. So not only is it a critical supply route for Russian troops, it's a pivotal symbol of Russia's illegal claims to Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. Putin personally celebrated that connection between Russia and Crimea by walking on it in 2018. But for Ukrainians, it's also symbolic. You know, they hated that bridge. It's being partly crippled really was symbolic for the Ukrainians too. It's saying, we're taking this back. And although Ukraine didn't directly claim responsibility for the attack, you know, an advisor to President Zelensky called it a beginning, saying everything illegal must be destroyed. So we saw these kind of thinly veiled approval messages from the Ukrainians that really showed how significant, how symbolic this bridge was for both sides.
And Britt, President Biden says these attacks once again demonstrate the utter brutality of Mr. Putin's illegal war on the Ukrainian people, using that word brutality, and I guess that kind of goes with that. One of these strikes reportedly hit a playground. What is the sense and reaction you're getting there after a report like that?
You know, I think brutality is a pretty good way of describing it, especially what we saw yesterday when we went to these sites. I must say the cleanup effort here in Kyiv has been quite remarkable. I've been very struck by how quickly the residents here in Kyiv and the repair workers have just been able to clear up the streets and get the roads back up again. And that's really testament to the resilience of the Ukrainian people. But it must be said, people are very angry, guys. You know, they say it's a flashback to the start of the war when the Russians were moving in on Kyiv. The difference is now that they're not scared, they say. You know, one parliamentarian telling me they now have the self-confidence, especially after those huge breakthroughs, guys, that we've seen in the south and east. You know, Kyiv residents were in shock yesterday morning after months of relative calm here. You know, we've seen a lot of bombings in other parts of the country, but life in the capital was relatively normal, and that's what made it so surreal. You know, we woke up to the sound of several loud bangs just after 8 a.m., smoke rising from the city centre behind me. It's also civilian areas with no apparent strategic or military significance. You know, we saw a pedestrian bridge that has no other purpose other than sightseeing, also a playground, a place of joy. Again, not a strategic target. So it does seem deeply senseless in many ways, and that's what I've been struck by reporting on the ground here. You know, we saw this huge crater that had been left by the impact of the missile, and then you turned around and there was a seesaw that had been knocked off to the side, and that's the kind of thing that really makes this a little bit heartbreaking.
You know what, the way you described it there, that juxtaposition of those types of images certainly helps bring it home and tell that story. And we appreciate you being there, Britt, and for the reporting that you do. And thank you for spending some time with us here on GMA3. Again, that's ABC foreign correspondent Britt Clennett. Thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.